Good afternoon, everybody. How's it going? Back here for another video with the 300L. Officially at 5,200 miles after a year of ownership. Just kind of give an update on how I'm feeling about this thing, especially after being a previous owner of a 250L. Of course, I've done a lot more to this bike than I did to the 250L. I'm still getting great efficiency out of it. Changed all the fluids right before winter, as you could see in the Rockies here. We still got some snow, but we got a couple beautiful days here, so we're getting out and riding a little bit. Definitely going to be probably trying to ride 6-7 months this year. Put a lot of miles on this bike. Probably try to get it close to 12,000 miles or so by the end of this riding season. If you need to know anything that's going on with this bike mod wise, I have a couple other videos on everything I've done to this bike. The only thing that I've done since then is done the Race Tech Gold valves and the added spring in the forks. Just got that finished up a couple weeks back, so I was really itching to come out and get this thing on the road again. I had the Race Tech suspension on my 250L as well. They feel very similar, pretty much exactly the same. Upcoming mods this year, I am definitely going to be replacing those Acerbis handguards. I had those on my 250L in white, and they were decent on the 250L. I don't know why on this bike I've just had problems with them. I mean, every time I've dropped it, there's something broken on them, or you know, they twisted up until I did get those Zeta triple mounts. But even then, not a big fan of those. I'm going to end up going to another completely different style, because actually if you look here on the bottom side of the handguard, it's like super cracked. It's pretty much just ready to come off anyway. If I just took a pair of pliers, I could probably just rip the fucking plastic right off of it. So those are going to be going away. I might end up just giving them to somebody or whatever wants some that they can beat up on a 110 or a 125. I know a couple other people that could probably use those on another bike. I'm going to probably end up leaving everything the same. Hopefully end up getting the aftermarket tank this year. I do want to get the Acerbis tank for sure. I was originally going to go with an IMS, but that one's not big enough for the money. For $400, that's just unbelievable for only a half gallon of gasoline. I got $100 Roto packs at home that holds a gallon, so I don't know what their justification there was. I know it's probably more for space. But I can't wait to get an Acerbis tank in black, because right now the clear ones are the only ones available, and I've put a lot of black on this bike, so I don't think I could go with the clear one. I think it would kind of look a little bit funny. I am going to definitely end up putting another front tire on this bike here pretty quick, and actually as well, I'm going to be getting some Supermoto wheels for this bike as well, so stay tuned for that in the future if you're interested. I'm going to be ordering some black on black Warp 9 Supermoto wheels for this bike, because I want to just be able to commute it a little bit easier and not wear out through these knobbies on the street this year while I'm riding. Because actually when I like to ride dirt, I'd rather get a better tire. I really have enjoyed the K60 IRC combo, off-road and on-road as well. But I feel like a Supermoto setup with, if I'm able to use these wheels for just dirt and dual sport trips, I'm probably going to end up doing a MT21 Pirelli on the front, because I had those tires before. I absolutely love them. And then a D606 Dunlop on the rear. That's a pretty easy combo to get, especially locally here. I can pretty much get those anywhere, so it's kind of smart choice as well, and they're easy to put on. So that's probably going to be the next couple months. I'm going to be probably ordering those Warp 9s here pretty quick, because I want to have those by spring to start riding. And I've been doing a lot of oil changes on this thing. I've done 4 oil changes in 5,000 miles. I'm probably going to do another one right at about 6,500 miles, so maybe another 1,300 miles. I actually did end up switching from the HP4S after the first 2 oil changes to the Motul 5100 ester blend, and I am very impressed with that so far. Shifting is really smooth. I've noticed the bike also doesn't seem to get as hot, but I think that oil just is a little bit higher performance than that HP4S. The HP4S is decent. I've used it a lot, but the Motul I wanted to kind of transition into and just end up using that, especially during the summer. I mean, I ride when it's 90, 100 degrees, or all the way down to 30, 40 degrees. So I need something that's going to be flexible and is going to keep this thing going for me. I did end up getting that larger tail bag, the Nelson rig one. I'm going to end up throwing that on probably before I start commuting, because right now this one's okay, but when I start commuting I need to bring my lunch and some other stuff with me, and it just doesn't fit in my backpack, so I got to have that bigger bag. I mean, so far I'm absolutely thrilled with this bike. I can't really complain about absolutely anything. I mean, it has some of the same little quirks the 250L had, but it's nothing to complain about. I'm actually really excited if anybody keeps track or tabs on this bike. They're going to be doing a different colorway that's going to be like a lower seat height version in gray, and I almost can't wait to get my hands on some of them gray plastics from Thailand. It's probably going to be a year or two or whatever before we're able to get them, but I absolutely love the way that bike looks in gray. It doesn't make any sense. I honestly don't like the red, but it'll suffice just because this bike is so amazing for what it is and what it costs. But I am really looking forward to hopefully getting some of those gray plastics in the future, because I really like the way that looks. And I feel like that would be like one of the last things I would really need to do to this bike, because it's pretty much set for me. I probably will eventually end up getting a rear shock for it, but that's not even a rush for me. I'm a really light guy, so I'm not one of these 2 hundo heifer Americans around here that pack beef down their throat all day and then complain about this bike being undersprung. So you need to have a realistic expectation of what this machine's able to do. Because if you gotta drop 100 pounds to buy this bike, this isn't the bike for you, plain and simple. I know economically people want to buy this bike because it's cheap and then just complain about how much they need to put into it, but at the end of the day, you don't really need to put much into it. I mean, I've pretty much done everything I want to do on this bike for $1,000, and with another $1,000, it'll be everything I could possibly want, and I wouldn't need anything else. Maybe a sport bike, but we'll talk about that another time. Questions and comments below. Thanks for watching.